There he is.
Hey,
What up, dude?
what's going on?
Not much, man.
You
What are
guys-
you up to?
Just making sure my face is in there. Just getting back to the house. Little rain today, so we had to postpone all our games today. So to go make the ugly call for our kids today and cancel baseball. I know these are our sad days.
Yes. You
Yep.
you might have an interesting week this week.
Yeah, it's a little wet. It's gonna be a little wet all week.
Yes.
Yeah, I take it day by day. The now that we're playing in the summer, we get the pop-up thunderstorms, and it is a little warmer, but yeah, a little bit to deal with this week.
So you guys only made the call for today. You haven't made it for the rest of the week yet. You just do one day at a time.
One day at a time, especially in the summer. If it pops up 80 degrees tomorrow and it breaks up a little bit, we might make some magic happen. So I take it day by day because you never know.
Awesome. Well, man, we are pumped to have you. For all you guys listening and watching, this is the man, the myth, the legend. This is Ronnie Morales. He is the executive director of West Raleigh Baseball. And before you just go thinking West Raleigh Baseball is just like any other league out there, it is not. I can tell you, I promise you, I have personally been working with West Raleigh Baseball for probably about 10 years now. And Ronnie has been there good, I think 8 of them, right, Ronnie? You've been there about 8 years?
Let's see. I think the math is July of 2013. So I think going on 7.
7.
Is that
okay.
right? Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So
it's 7 years. I've been working with Ronnie. Man, he's been awesome to work with over there. And West Raleigh Baseball is a premier baseball league, and just awesome to be working with them. So we're going to talk to Ronnie a little bit about today, a little about his background, what he does over West Raleigh, because some of you West Raleigh people may not even know all of what Ronnie does over there. And you think he's just this big CEO guy, but he might be out there raking the fields more than you think. So we'll maybe get a little behind the scene footage of what Ronnie does. But just excited to have him on the call and talk a little about his program and what he does. I'll introduce Ronnie a little bit, and then we'll jump into a few other things. Ronnie, and I may ask you a few of these questions, Ronnie. We'll just keep it free-flowing because I know I got on your bio that at some level you were in Germany. Now, were you born in Germany or were you high school in Germany? How did that work out?
Oh man, so military brat. My dad enlisted. I think in mid '80s. I was born in Texas, Austin, Texas, and then from there bounced all over the country, a little bit of the world. So I just wound up out in Germany during the high school era.
Nice.
But yeah,
now today you play some baseball out in Germany?
Yeah, there was so Little League was big out there, and Little League had a presence in Europe. So we played, Little League, the Junior League, and the Senior League is about the only baseball we've had. We had out there. We played on the base, kind of with our own rec league, and it wasn't much, and the weather wasn't too cooperative over in Germany either. So
were you playing with other like military kids, or were you actually playing with the German kids?
So it was other military kids. We actually, so for Team Europe, there was still a trial, but ultimately, obviously, baseball being a really premier American sport, all Americans were, there, playing baseball. So it was all base kids that represent. Usually, when you watch the Little League World Series, and if Germany or Europe's ever there, it's usually a military base actually.
No way.
Yeah, Belgium, in Brussels, Kaiserslautern, Ramstein, those areas are all usually in the mix for Europe, and they're usually military kids.
Oh man, that's awesome. So so awesome time in Germany, and then you end up in Montana at some level. So did you finish up high school in Montana?
Yep, wrapped up high school in Montana. It was that state is really, really cold. It is gorgeous, but really, really, really cold. So yeah, we did I think 3 years in Montana. And actually Montana didn't have high school baseball because it was so cold. We'd only had softball. So I actually ended up having to play Legion. I didn't even play high school baseball. I only played Legion baseball. So many people probably don't know that. But yeah, there was only Legion there.
That's awesome, dude. And so You ended up bouncing around, ended up at Wichita State playing for the Shockers. A lot of you guys may know the Wichita State Shockers. So how did that develop? How did you get into the Shockers, Ronnie? And you're a pitcher as well, right?
Yes, sir. I was a left-handed pitcher. Started my career off as a starter in high school. You know, in the youth level, I was a normal throw-in left-hander, I guess, as normal as we can be. And then after my junior year, I dropped down submarine sidearm, and I did a junior college in Kansas, so I was familiar with Wichita State. And then my senior year, I just wound up back in Kansas and tried to make a name for myself in baseball. So I chose a powerhouse at the time, and Wichita State's a very good baseball school. More known for basketball these days with their success there, but definitely has always been a baseball school. And I just went there to try and extend my career.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And then in 2007, and this is where me and Ronnie's paths started to cross in a really weird way, because Ronnie, I didn't even know Ronnie then. Ronnie was drafted by the Chicago White Sox in 2007, and I just happened to be a massive Chicago Cubs fan. So in a very small way, we finally got connected. But Ronnie got drafted by the Chicago White Sox. Tell us a little about that, Ronnie.
That was a dream come true. It was 2007. It was day 2 of the draft. I was a 45th rounder, basically a gracious senior sign.
There you go.
They don't even have that many rounds anymore. I was actually driving on my way to Oklahoma, and I was heading to an independent team in Pennsylvania. And so I had a flip phone, no cell service in Oklahoma, and my roommate calls me. He says, "Hey man, you got to turn around." And I was like, "Why? Did I forget something?" And he goes, "No, you just got drafted." And I was like, "Get out of here." So I ended up going I had to go to a gas station and use a payphone. I didn't have any service to get up with my parents. And
that's hilarious.
So it was crazy. 2007. That was a dream come true.
That's awesome, man. And I won't hold that against you, because I know you can't help when you get drafted.
Can't help, and I would never be mad at it.
Absolutely. So, man, that is awesome. So tell me, I know you on your bio, you said you have a pretty funny or long, humble story you put it for your personal accolade. What would you say, Ronnie, is one of your best personal accolades? If you're going to brag, I'm telling you to brag on yourself. I know that's hard to do.
Oh man. I would say, I guess, being a good father. Right. I think that probably takes it home. I think I've made it a point to be, a really good father, a really good husband. But being involved with youth sports and teaching my whole life, and then finally having 2 kids of my own, I think that's so far my biggest accolade is how well my wife and I are raising the kids. So I think that's the biggest prize. I think in sport, I was privileged to and lucky to play many different sports, and had a lot of success, youth, amateur, professionally. And those accolades come with it. And I think hard work and all that, kind of takes care of those things. But I think what sport taught me and all of that and all my travels kind of cultured me and allowed me to be the person I am today to raise good children. So I think that's the huge accolade.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So tell us a little bit about, and I can echo everything you said, because I've known you for the last 7 years, man, and it's just been a privilege to get to know you as a friend and obviously work with you, and it's just been nothing but awesome. So tell us a little about West Raleigh, what you guys, maybe about the organization as a whole, what your mission is, what are y'all trying to accomplish, and then maybe update us on where you guys are at for starting your season.
Absolutely, yeah. West Raleigh is a one-of-a-kind place. I mean, it's got a history of over 60 years. There's not a place like it. I mean, you drive, down a little side street in Raleigh, North Carolina on a Tuesday night, and get to enjoy, quality baseball, get a good hot dog, and under the lights, in some nice weather. It's a family atmosphere that's really prided itself on just, sportsmanship and kind of the overall camaraderie of families and
Yeah.
and letting your kids go run around and be kids, that kind of thing. So West Raleigh's all, it's to and through the age of 12, and it's all about giving opportunity to kids that want to excel in baseball and have fun and bring families together. So it's different. It's backyard rec baseball with a really, really nice competitive fun edge to it, and we do a lot of good things outside of the league to help show our kids some of the community efforts that that are important in life as well. So it's more than baseball at West Raleigh. It's community based, it's family based, it's volunteer servant based leadership. So it's all of that, and we need all of that to be around the last 60 years too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So how many on a given season, how many kids you'll have in the program?
So we have a fall and a spring season that kind of is separated with a summer all-star season. We roughly see about, I would say, 800 to 1,000 families a year. Some of those interchange, or they kind of double dip on the seasons a little bit. But we service 500 families a season, about 400 kids, 450 kids. So it's on 3 ball fields and city and municipality fields. We service a lot of kids at West Raleigh. So it's a big operation.
Yeah, very much so. And you guys during the season, y'all pretty much play almost every day of the week, don't you?
There's games rolling every single day. So we have 4 leagues between these age groups, and it accumulates to about 41 teams. 41 teams with 12 players. So there's a lot of teams out there, and we're constant. There's a game every night. So if anybody's ever just wanting to go watch youth baseball, 5:30 and 7:30 weeknight games, pretty much every night, and then a full day on Saturday. So it's we're constantly rolling.
That's awesome. Man, if you're gonna go, make sure you get there enough to get a parking spot, because it can get tight.
It's tight. We're working on that.
But it's just a great baseball venue. I mean, there's just no doubt. And really, the last 10 years, it's been cool for me to see all the updates and some of the new stuff you've done at the fields and the new buildings, and it's just been awesome being a part. And I would say this, I mean, obviously outside North Carolina as well, but within the state of North Carolina, you mentioned West Raleigh Baseball, and pretty much everybody is familiar with West Raleigh Baseball and knows the teams. The level of talent is put out through this program is just second to none. And it was a real cool privilege for me maybe it's probably like 5 years ago now, I don't know if it was you texted me or something, but one of your teams was playing on CBS Sports.
Yep.
And it was really cool. And unfortunately, whatever they had to do this term, they had to wear Under Armour's jerseys. So they weren't wearing our jerseys anymore. They were required to wear Under Armour. But I was tuning in. I was like, I want to check that game out and see if they're wearing our jerseys. Because what we've been able to do from 323 Sports, we've been able to be kind of like the official provider for West Raleigh for a lot of years. We outfit their teams every spring, summer, and fall. That's been that could be a whole nother podcast or a whole nother talk in itself. The transition of where we've come back in the days of getting, I used to get 40 Excel sheets of all these different orders, and parents paying at the ball field for uniforms. And we have it was one of the more hectic days of my year.
Dan, I heard there was lines before I got there. There was lines around the clubhouse to go and manually pay for your order it on a piece of paper. Like I heard the horror stories. I couldn't even imagine.
I got to throw Kathleen Kinney a bone, because me and Kathleen, she saved me, because it's a couple of those years I thought I was going to be out there by myself, and Kathleen was like, "I'll stay with you." And Kathleen, I tried to be the politician, being real nice, and Kathleen was like, "No, this is what you did. Here we go. Move along." And Kathleen saved the day. But then we ended up moving all of West Raleigh's orders online, and so the parents could just make it a lot easier for them. And really, that transition happened, and so that was really cool. But anyway, it's been neat for me to be a part of the league in that way, and see a lot of things develop. So Ronnie, let's switch topics real quick, and your favorite teams here. I can see your favorite teams are the Cowboys, the Braves, and the Spurs. Okay, and so you're obviously a '90s kid. Is that? I mean, like I feel like every one of my friends was a Braves and Cowboys fan in the '90s, and I was always battling against them because I was a Cubs fan, and I didn't. The Braves weren't even in my division, but I couldn't stand the Braves because they were so good.
Yeah, well, the funny, well, so to your point now, I almost became a Cubs fan too, and so here's the reason why. Being a military brat, right? I didn't have a home.
Yeah.
We didn't have a hometown, a home city, and everywhere we went, it was either WGN or TBS. Yeah. So I either got
it was a 50-50 chance for you.
Yeah, it's 50-50. It was Braves or Cubs. So, being a pitcher, watching them in the early '90s, Maddox, Smoltz, Glavine, like those were my guys. Those were my guys to watch pitch, and it just never stopped from there. I became a Braves fan, and Cowboys. Being born in Austin, I took the 3 rings.
Yeah.
in bandwagon that I have my dad to thank for that. But yeah, so it could have been easily the Cubs.
Yeah, if we just had a few better pitchers back in the day. I mean, we I guess Kevin Tapani and Steve Tratzkel and Rod Beck that weren't getting it done for you in the '90s. But we were actually, I just watched, I don't know if you watched it yet, Long Gone Summer, the new 30 for 30 last night on McGuire and Sosa.
No, I did not see it. I heard about it though.
Yeah, Long Gone Summer, that was 30 for 30. It aired last night, and it details the summer of '98 with Sosa and McGuire. And I was 12 at the time, and I just remember like that was such a huge summer for me. That was like one of the best summers of baseball ever. And so that's when the Cubs started getting a little bit better again in the late '90s, and then 2003 we had that just horrifying year. I don't even want to talk about it with Steve Bartman. Yeah. And then we went through more rebuilding. But anyway, so what if your pitcher that you love the most? Who is your favorite pitcher that you really just love the way he pitched?
Well, there's 2. This is kind of cheating. I have 2.
That's not
Greg Maddux and Nolan Ryan, 2 completely different pitchers. Nolan Ryan was just a workhorse that obviously just threw flames, but he went out there and just gritty. Just kind of went after everybody, didn't care. And I just loved that mentality. And then Maddux, on the other hand, was about one of the most intelligent chess playing pitchers you'll ever see that didn't throw as hard. And just you learn so much more in watching his craft. So both of them are top for me, and enjoyed watching both of them.
Didn't Maddox have a complete game with like 73 pitches or something?
I think it was actually under. I think it was like 63 or 65. I've heard
just unbelievable.
Unbelievable. I mean, I ended up playing. For a few managers that kind of were in that era, and that had, were fortunately around that guy, and they're just anybody that ever talked about Greg Maddux was like, yep, just could fall to bed throwing strikes with his eyes closed. Catchers closing their eyes, putting their mitt out, and Maddux hits every spot, and it's just an artwork. So it was pretty cool to watch.
Dude, I don't know if you ever saw it, but Chris Bryant, they did a prank on Chris Bryant. Did you see that prank with Greg Maddux?
I did. Where they were in Vegas, right? That is.
And Greg Maddux was acting like the cameraman, and then like the pitcher didn't show up, and the cameraman was like, "I'll throw you a few pitches," and Chris Bryant was like, "Nah, dude, no, we're good, we're good." And the guy's like, "No." He gets up there and starts throwing a couple, and Chris Bryant's like, "This guy's got a little pop on his little toss."
Yeah, he was throwing like cutters and change-ups. He was spotting up, and Chris Bryant's like, "This guy's like good."
Bryant's like, "These are like legit pitches. What's going on right now?"
That was funny. Yeah, Greg Maddux has. If you ever look it up, his stories are hilarious. I mean, he was a jokester. He was a prankster. He would mess with teammates during media days, and I heard one story that Greg Maddux actually rented a car or took one of the rental cars of his teammates, and totaled it, and just brought back the steering wheel because it just went and got it demolished. I'm being dead serious. I heard this story. I don't know how true it is, but I've heard just crazy stuff from Greg Maddux, and he's so witty too, and he's just
Yeah.
was quick. So yeah,
That's awesome. Yeah, I did always like Greg because he's a Cubs guy. You know what I mean?
he's a Cubs guy.
I think I want to believe he's more of a Cubs guy than a Braves guy. That's just what I want to believe. I think that's
He
where his
threw the
heart's
hardest with the Cubs. Hey, he threw over 90 with the Cubs. So
You did. You do a lot.
Yeah.
And, all right, so let's knock a couple of these out real quick, just for fun.
All right.
MJ or LeBron, Ronnie?
MJ.
I like that. Federer or Nadal?
Federer.
I like that. Tiger or Jack?
Tiger.
Montana or Brady?
My wife's downstairs. She can't hear this, but Brady. She's a Patriots fan. I don't want her to know I said that, but it's true.
Oh, yeah.
Brady over Montana.
All right, now here's one that might be a little more tough that you might have to explain. What do you think is more important, talent or hard work? And why? Hard
work's definitely more important. But I mean, hands down, hard work's more important. But talent is important to understand in terms of what you have and what hard work actually means for talent. Because I think, especially at a youth level, it's very confusing for kids when you got growth spurts and maturity and all kind, puberty, all kinds of things are going on with these kids. And hard work is the common denominator for everybody. The talent takes care of itself if you put in the hard work, and it helps to have a little talent. But they're definitely two different things.
What do you think? Obviously you're around kids and obviously you work with them and you've coached in the past, but do you have a central message or anything that you try to really instill into kids? Not necessarily the X's and O's of the game, but just as far as a general message that you try to instill in the kids that are out there and part of the program and part of because it's easy to get caught in that rat race of like improving and getting to college and getting to all these different levels. Is there kind of a message that you really try to put out there to the kids?
Sure. I not really in like a secret sauce, quick recipe kind of way, but I think my message has always been, find a desire and passion in what you're doing, and find a reason to show up every day. I think, intrinsic motivation is huge, especially in youth sports. If kids don't want to be there and don't want to do it and aren't passionate and don't have the conviction to do it, it's really tough to work hard and have success. So you got to want to do it, and they got to find little things to latch on to, little things to keep them engaged. And that's our job as adults and coaches and mentors to kind of help them bring them along. But I think just find something to bring you back every day. Find something that's worth bringing you back to get better or to get to the next level. Start thin. Once you find that passion, just don't stop working hard. And then the end game is consistency. I preach consistency. And that's on and off the field. I mean, you just try and do. Baseball is a what have you done for me lately sport. It's a very tough grind, and they like consistency. And you could be as talented, from rookie ball to AAA to the big leagues just as much as the next guy. But those guys in the big leagues can do it for 162 games. So consistency is the name of the game, and how you can get to a point where you can be consistent with the passion on a daily basis. So kind of a multi-message.
Well, it makes sense. It kind of makes sense why you're a big Mike Trout fan. Because, as much as I know about Mike, I don't know. Obviously, I don't follow the American League that much, but he seems to have those things just where he's super consistent every day and comes to work and seems to enjoy what he does, And so, so what do you, when you think about your job, we're wrapping up here, Ronnie, but I appreciate your time. But when you think about your job at West Raleigh and what you're trying to accomplish, like in general, what are you trying to accomplish with West Raleigh? Are you trying to, you have any goals or any things that really keep you motivated?
That's a great question. I'm there to be, a mentor for kids and families. It's, baseball was the first thing that brought there. That was the door opener. That was the conversation starter, was baseball. Obviously, with my love and history with baseball, and West Raleigh is, a baseball place, that was common ground. From there, it has been just trying to make an impact on these kids' lives and in the community, and help them kind of achieve that as well.
Yeah.
I guess leaving it better than I found it is the ultimate goal, but just making it more than baseball.
Yeah.
And trying to find subliminal ways. I have several conversations with families all throughout the year that are, trying to find their way with their kid, in life, or,
Yeah.
they may have lost, a parent or whatever it may be. So it's always more than a game. And I think I just want to try to provide that for as many people as I can. And obviously grow the game of baseball in the community. But I think just teaching families and kids what kind of life skills can be taught through baseball is what's most important too.
I love that, man. And there's something you put in your bio, when you sent it to me a few weeks ago, and it really stuck with me. And it really, I sent to Mike too, and Mike was looking at it, and something we talked about in one of our meetings, it got brought up, but you put, I'd asked you what 3 things you're most passionate about, and you put your kids, your family as 1, pitching number 2, and you put kindness, just being kind, as number 3. And I don't know, it was simple. I know it was simple, you said, but it was really impactful to just kind of remember that. It's something we were talking about even in our jobs. And
we know you didn't mean that, Ronnie. You knew we'd say that today. That's why you put it there.
How we doing, Mike? Good to see you.
What's up, dude? Great to see you, man.
Good to see you as well. Thank you.
Yeah, no, but it really is true. And, it's just, I think it's an awesome thing to remember, especially when everybody's, we all get caught up in doing everything we do. And I'm sure these families are out there, and obviously you have a job to do, and these families are out there, and some of them are really, trying to, obviously everybody's focused on their own thing, and we understand that, but just being kind and being considerate of all those people around you. I don't know. And I've always felt like you've embodied that really well in the 7 years I've known you. And I think it's really been good and impactful for me as well.
I appreciate that. Yeah, you're 100% right. I mean, that's one of your slogans, right? Do it right. And it's very easy to do the wrong thing. I think that's what we've all learned in this life, this short life that we've all lived, right? It's sometimes harder to do the right thing. Sometimes even harder than we even can imagine. Kindness it should be easy. But in this world we're in today, it's sometimes it's tough. It's a fast life. I mean, I catch myself, rushing my kids and kind of being short with them for no reason. And I'll check myself and go, whoa, easy. Like he's 4 or she's 18 months. Like, we got, this is too much. Right. So it takes extra effort. It takes a little courage, to have kindness. I think it gets underplayed that just being nice is being nice. But it has a huge impact. I think in 7 years at West Raleigh, I think people start to see, kind of the character that I carry, and it does help shift cultures when that's your motive. And so you can only fake it till you make it so long. But if we do everything in love and kindness always, I mean, it's really hard to get flawed there. So I do take an extra effort to do it. That's why it was on that list. And even on days it's tough too. So that it's very big passion of mine.
Yeah, I love that. It's funny. The older I get, the more I just remember all the simple things. There's simple things that we were taught. What were we taught as young age? Treat others like you want to be treated.
That's right.
And it's so simple. And it's like, here I am, a 34-year-old man. I've seen 45-year-old men. I've seen 55-year-old people, men or women. And people consistently, I mean, we can take a lot of lessons from kids because we have so many adults who do not treat people remotely like they would like to be treated.
That's right.
And it's a simple reminder, but it is so hard. And the realization that it's not like we're just going to suddenly figure it out one day. It's a daily grind. Like today I need to remember to do this. Today I need to remember to do this. And I'm sure
everyday exchange. Yeah, it's everyday exchange. It's I think we take, in this world we're in today, right? Like we try to show the world that we're being positive, maybe through a social media post or whatever. But it's the truth of it is when you look in the, are you doing this on the drive by yourself, to the person, lady, gal, sir, kid in the shopping mart? Are you always are you always practicing kindness, or just when people are watching?
Yeah.
That's that's the truth. The truth is when they're not watching. The truth is your own beliefs and your own thoughts and how you're treating people. It's your daily walk. It's everything you're doing. It's that exchange and how you look or smile. I honestly, Keith, you might think this is funny, but I really, going on to kindness, I make it a point to smile at people that probably don't get a smile all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that.
Just kind of give them a smile and a wave, and they're like, they give you one back, and you're like, sometimes you just need that. And it's important.
For sure, man. I love that, and man, I love what you're doing over there, Ronnie, and the kids. Those families are lucky to have you, and so we're just excited to be a part of the organization. And however, and I know this year's been a weird year. Spring season was supposed to start like middle of May or third week of March, and it obviously didn't get started till last week. I'm assuming that everything went off well. The opening day, everybody excited to be out there playing?
Yes, sir. There's just happy faces right now. It's big time for our kids to be outside. Obviously, we took, a very careful approach on making sure families, kids, community is safe as all can be.
Yeah.
But now we're out there, we're rolling. Everyone's doing a great job of staying within the guidelines, and it's making for happy kids playing baseball.
That's awesome.
It's been great.
That's awesome, man. Well, listen, if you're watching this video and you haven't heard anything about West Raleigh Baseball, check them out. What's the website again, Raleigh? WRBaseball.com or?
It's westraleighabaseball.org.
Okay.
And then our Instagram's at West Raleigh Baseball. We put a lot of our content through there. So, if anybody wants to check us out, at West Raleigh Baseball.
Do it. And if you're a baseball league out there and you want to model or see how to do it right, check out West Raleigh Baseball, because and I'm sure Ronnie would be glad to give you any insight on what they do, running their programs. And it's second to none from what I've seen in the baseball community. And so I think a lot of these leagues could learn a lot. So anyway, Ronnie, brother, it was great seeing you, even if it's from a large socially distanced situation. But glad baseball started. I'm talking to Whit right now about All-Stars. I know you're going to try to do a few All-Star stuff coming up quick. And so excited we're not going to lose the entire 2020 season, and these kids will be back in action. But, man, I appreciate you coming on here and chit-chatting with us. And who knows, maybe it's one or two different people that will watch this. Maybe was encouraged by the conversation. But I just appreciate you sharing, brother.
You got it. I hope so. Hey, everybody, go check out 323 Sports too, man. They do it right. They took care of us. I got 4 boxes downstairs, by the way, from you guys today, so I'm about to go.
Oh, dude. Nice.
Yeah, for the 13U program. So if they're watching,
cool.
Stuff's in. So.
All right, dude. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you, guys. Y'all take care. We'll talk soon.
All right. See you, Ronnie.
All right. See you.